Well, this is day 2, and it's also brought its adventures and its good moments and bad moments. Although I was thinking that I was now a pro and that I was able to keep things under control, I hadn't realized that things could still get much more complicated. I had 14 students online today doing a B1 class, and it was very interesting, but it was very noisy. I decided not to mute them because I thought it would be a more realistic experience. But because there were so many faces on the screen, I would ask a question and students would shout out, me, me, me. And I had to interrupt the students and say, you do realize that some of you have got no camera. So when you're seeing me, 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 I have to try to figure out whose voice it is. We also had a lovely, interesting anecdote today of a student who's got one of these enormous snakes at home and decided to put it around his neck. I am absolutely terrified of snakes, and I hadn't realized until I had a look at him, and I nearly had a heart attack when I saw this enormous snake crawling up his neck. I had to tell him that snakes were not allowed in the room. So there you go. This has never been mentioned, I don't think, in online etiquette. Don't bring your pet snake to class, or any pet, if we're going to be talking about pets. So that was an exciting thing that happened today. Also, you have to try to make sure to speak to your parents and tell them to please not have twins. I'm just joking. But today in class, we had 2 twins in class who were fighting over one mobile phone. That, obviously, as you can imagine, was quite an interesting twist to the lesson. So forget realia, forget bringing in interesting material. Just have 2 students fighting over one phone. Another lovely incident, and something that you might want to learn if you're thinking of organizing these kind of online lessons, is that in some platforms, for example in Zoom, you can allocate students into different chat rooms or breakout rooms. Well, today I had 13 students. I had heard that 13 is an unlucky number, but today I had confirmation. I decided to allocate 2 students per group, and obviously because I'm an English teacher and not a maths teacher, I didn't realize that one student would actually not be allocated a group. I thought computers were intelligent, but obviously that's not the case. So I just suddenly happened to glance at my computer and realize that one student has not been allocated a room. So this poor student had been in an internet limbo, or in one of these ethereal places for at least 2 minutes. I guess it is true. You do live and learn, but my goodness me, that was quite embarrassing. I had to apologize profusely. But there you go. These, I guess, are the things that happen when you're teaching online lessons. We've all had instances in which students in face-to-face classes have had, especially young learners, have had little accidents in class or incidences in class, but you've dealt with them quite efficiently or effectively because you've got them face-to-face. Doing it online is a bit more difficult, but I guess that by the end of week, 27? I hope not that many, I will be feeling much more comfortable. But anyway, let's be positive once again. I can't remember how many days I've been stuck at home in front of my computer, but I'm sorry to say this, beginning to enjoy it. I am not spending hours and hours commuting from lesson to lesson, which is what I normally do. I have time to actually spend at home actually doing some cooking and some cleaning. So in fact, today, instead of eating a quick sandwich before a lesson, I had a leisurely lunch, which made an enormous difference. So there you go. If you are thinking of making the transition from face-to-face to online teaching, there are definitely some advantages. So, again, let's finish off with our lovely positive message. Yes, I'm sure you know it by now. We will prevail. We will get there in the end. Things do get much easier. And speaking to my other workmates, they're all talking about this is a piece of cake. I didn't realize how enjoyable it was. And one teacher actually admitted that this is actually great fun. I don't have to deal with discipline issues, especially when there are teenagers or young learners, because they are at home in isolation. So there you go. What is the expression? There's always a silver lining.